Hi, my name is Kathleen, and I had VSG surgery in August of 2023. If you don't know what VSG surgery is, it's vertical gastric sleeve. It's where they remove 80% of your stomach and they just leave 20%. I had this as a weight loss surgery to help me on my journey to lose weight. It has been 9 months, or a little over 9 months, and I have lost almost 80 pounds. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about how I got to that point. So in December of 2022, I went in to a doctor's appointment here in our new state that we moved to, which is Texas, and I went to see my primary care physician for the first time, to establish care, and I was obviously overweight and I have high blood pressure. So we were going over all the things, and he actually suggested to me, he's like, have you ever considered having weight loss surgery? So I said, honestly, no, I never really thought about it. So he's like, well, he gave me some information about it and gave me a doctor to contact, and so yeah, that was where it started. I went home, I thought about it for a while, and then in January I decided to proceed and get more information and whatnot, at least meet with the doctor and see how that went. So how it works for my insurance is I made an appointment with the doctor to have a consultation, and I had to do 6 months of nutritional classes. So it was just one class each month. And then I had all of these requirements I had to satisfy for my insurance to cover the surgery. So I met with a doctor, and he was a really awesome surgeon person to meet, whatnot. So that went really well, and he gave me a whole bunch of information, which kind of made my head spin a little bit. I still wasn't convinced that that was what I was going to do, or that I was going to go through with it, but I was considering it. And then after talking to the physician and the lady who does all the scheduling, and I also got to meet the dietitian, she suggested that I go through all of the steps at least, and then when I get through the 6 months, if I want to go through with it, I can. If not, we can wait. However, as it stands, if you get to that 6 month point and you decide that's not what you're going to do, then you'd have to start all over again. If you waited till the next year, when your benefits all renew, you'd have to wait and go through all the steps again. So there was that. So I decided I'd at least start taking the nutrition classes. So I did. I had my first one in February, which was during an ice storm here in Texas. So that happened over the phone. Those were actually pretty easy appointments. I got to meet my dietitian, and we just went over things like, I'm not a breakfast eater. I don't eat in the morning. I don't like eating food in the morning. It doesn't sit well. So one of the things she suggested first off was just a protein shake in the morning. That's it. Just one. She didn't have me change my diet or anything else, just a protein shake in the morning to have some sort of protein in my body. And that's pretty much how my appointments went. It was just, tweaking little things in my diet on the way. Sorry for my voice. I'm sick. I have a sinus infection and an ear infection. So along with my dietitian or my nutrition classes, I had to have a psychiatrist appointment so he can evaluate me for my mental health and whatnot. So I did that. I also had to go have a sleep study done. So for the first part of that, they go into the clinic, and they give you a little machine that you take home and you hook up to yourself, and you wear this while you sleep for 2 nights at home. So I did that. And then you take it back in, and they go through all the data and evaluate that and see where you are and if you have sleep apnea. It turns out I do. So I had to go back in for an actual in-depth study, and I had to go into the sleep clinic and actually sleep there, which is when they actually hook you up to an actual CPAP machine with all these other connections, and then that's how they find your settings and everything and what works best for you. So I did that. So I do have sleep apnea. I do sleep on a CPAP machine. I have every night since I got my machine, which was last April 2023. And since I have sleep apnea, you have to take your CPAP machine with you to the hospital when you have your surgery for your weight loss, because then you have to spend the night in the hospital and you have to use your CPAP machine. Can use a hospital machine, but they charge you an outrageous fee for that, so just keep that in mind. I did sleep one night without my machine. Lightning struck the house across the street from us. I did not have my CPAP machine on a surge protector. It was plugged into the wall. Excuse me. And that was one of the things that we lost. I mean, my machine got messed up. It also has a humidifier in it, and it ruined the humidifier in my machine. So I had to, and it killed the charging cord. So I had to get a new power cord. So I had to get a new power cord from Amazon, so I didn't sleep with it that night. And I slept with it, but it didn't work correctly for like the rest of the weekend. And then I had to take it into the sleep lab, and they ended up having to send it in, and I ended up getting a new one because it was damaged. But they gave me a rental in the meantime, which was awesome, and that's what I ended up using for my surgery because I didn't get my machine back in time. I love it. Yes, it is a nuisance. It goes over my nose. It doesn't go over my mouth, just covers my nose. Blows air in my nose, and I have to wear it, and it goes over my head too, which took some getting used to, but I sleep much better with it. I also mentally helps because I know I'm not going to stop breathing in my sleep because I know I have sleep apnea. So there you go. I had to go see a cardiologist, and I had to do an EKG, and they had to take x-rays and readings of my heart. They had to have me do a stress test, which being overweight and doing that was quite the thing. I also really needed to use the restroom before excuse me, before I did that, and I didn't. Tip for you: if you need to use the restroom before you take your stress test, do it. Because yeah, all that running, whew. So yeah, and I couldn't, the blood pressure medicine I was taking at the time slowed my heart rate down, so I couldn't take my blood pressure medicine for 3 days before. So my heart rate was a little wacky, but I did just fine. I have since my surgery, like right after my surgery, my blood pressure was really low for a while. So I ended up, thankfully, my goal was to at least get healthy enough to get off my blood pressure medicine. I'm still taking my blood pressure medicine, but it's different. It's a different type, and it's a much lower dose. So there's that, and it's better, a lot better than what it was. So that is improved. So yeah, I didn't ultimately decide 100% for sure until about, I want to say the end of May, possibly June. In June, I actually, at every appointment that you go in, they weigh you. And another one of the requirements I was unaware of is, while you're not dieting the whole time you're going to your nutrition classes, there is a weight. You know, they weigh you at your first appointment, and they weigh you at all your subsequent appointments. So the last appointment or two before the surgery, you can't weigh more than what you did in the beginning. Well, my first appointment was in February. I didn't weigh in that appointment because it was on the phone. My second one was in March, and I was about, I want to say 220, 216, 220, somewhere around there. I don't remember. May is a big month for our family. We have my son's birthday, my daughter's birthday, my husband's birthday, mine and my husband's anniversary. there's all these things. It's also the end of the school year, so you have all these parties and all these things happening. Excuse me. So I went in on June 5th for my appointment. I remember this because it was a shocking day. I went in that day knowing that, I'd probably weigh a little bit more. I weighed 229 pounds. That is the highest I've ever been that I know of in my life. So my nutritionist said, okay, that's not, terrible, but you cannot gain any more weight between now, and your next appointment, or they won't okay the surgery. So what happened from there was I had to be way more mindful in June. And then, which I was, I stopped drinking soda, I stopped drinking tea, sweet tea, and cut back on my sugar. And then I think that was when I went 2 shakes a day. I had a shake in the morning and then a shake for lunch and then whatever for dinner. I think that's it. And then I ended up dropping the weight. I went in, I don't remember what it was in July when I went in, but it was less. So we were good. And then all the way up until, I think, a week before my surgery, I had to do a liquid diet. All liquids. So protein shake 3 times a day, water, broth, I could have anything liquid. So surgery day, I ended up weighing 207 pounds when I went in for surgery. So I had lost 22 pounds between June 5th and my surgery date, which was August 7th. So yeah, that is how I got to surgery. I did surgery. I was in the hospital one night. When I woke up from the anesthesia, that was the most pain I was in the entire time. After that, I was good. We did really well over the night. I was by myself. My husband was there during the surgery and whatnot, but he had to go home and he had to be with our kids that night, so I stayed in the hospital by myself. And then I got up and walked as much as I could. And I wasn't allowed to drink anything, nothing, until after the next morning when they did an x-ray. They had me drink that stuff. It was clear, though, the stuff they had me drink this time, and then take an x-ray of it. So they had me standing in the x-ray machine, and I'd have to take a sip, and they'd take pictures right then and there. And they wanted to make sure there were no leaks or anything was wrong before I drank. The only thing they would give me, thankfully, the nurses were awesome. They gave me ice chips to suck on, at least to get my mouth moist, because your mouth gets so dry. So if you're going to have this surgery, bring chapstick. Your lips get dry, your mouth gets dry. It's terrible. So after they got the results from that, I was able to have my first liquids, which was, I had broth. They brought me broth. They brought me a vitamin water zero, and then I think some water. And then I had to drink little cups, and I started with just, sipping things very slowly. I went home that day, and they sent me home with little cups, and then I had a little paper, and I had to keep track because you have to drink one of those cups every 15 minutes. So you were getting 2, 4, 6, 8 ounces every hour. So you're trying to get up to 64. You don't get that far the first few days. And then the whole first 2 weeks I was on, the first week after surgery, I think it was, I was all on liquids. First week or 2, I can't remember. And then it was soft foods. And I was on soft foods until week 7. And once I got to week 7, I was able to have more textured food. And then from there on, I started drinking with a straw, I think at 3 months. Even though a lot of doctors follow what your doctor says, my doctor didn't really say, and it's much easier for me to drink out of a straw. I don't drink 30 minutes before I eat or 30 minutes after I eat. I walk every day. Try and walk 30 minutes a day. I work in an office building and I sit at a desk all day long, so I go on my breaks and I'll either go walk through the parking lot, or I'm on the 7th floor, I'll walk up all 7 flights of stairs and then down 3 times a day. I do my best to move my body when and where I can, and so far this is what's working for me. You have to use what you have, and so that's all of that. Things I can suggest that you have for your surgery: I would suggest you bring a charger, chapstick, heating pad if you want, and your CPAP machine if you need it. Things for home: nice cozy warm blanket because you're going to be cold. A wedge pillow helps because you cannot lay flat for the longest time. So I got a wedge pillow from Amazon, and that helped tremendously. I got the little 2-ounce souffle cups with the lids. So I pre-made things like ricotta bake and had it pre-measured and everything. And there's awesome apps you can use. Berrytastic is an awesome app to track your food, water. That'll help. That helps track your calories and your protein. Make sure you're getting all of those things. You also can't swallow pills. So your vitamins, because you're going to need to take vitamins from now on, because you're not getting them all from the food since your stomach's so small. You use chewables. Bariatric Advantage, has awesome ones. They're a little pricey, but they're tasty. Also, Berry Life. Their chewable vitamins are really good. Their calcium chews are amazing. They have sour grape and watermelon, are my favorite. Or you can use Patch Aid has patches. One thing that I got that helped is you are no longer allowed to have ibuprofen after you have bariatric surgery, so Tylenol is going to be your best friend. And they have dissolvable powder Tylenol. I still love it to this day. So that was a very helpful tip. So these are all the things that I did for surgery. So if you have any questions or comments, post them below and I'll try and answer them as best I can. And welcome to my page. Get yourself a nice big cup because you're going to be drinking lots of water. And I drink this about 3 of these a day, 3 to 4 of them a day. So I carry this with me everywhere I go. So find yourself a good cup. Well, I think that'll do it for today. It was nice meeting you. I look forward to having many conversations. I'm on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. So I will talk to you later.